So what I usually do is when I start packing, I like to get everything all spread out. Okay? You are essentially going to have 2 pieces of luggage with you. You're going to have an EF bag, correct, Mr. Howard, that they'll probably get in the future?
Yes.
So you're going to have an EF backpack that you'll take, and this will be your carry-on. So this is what you will take on the plane with you. And then you will need to have some type of suitcase with you, and this is a pretty good size. So you don't want one of those suitcases that's like a house and you can, put like your 2 younger siblings inside, okay? Because the rule is when you travel, you have to be able to carry all your own luggage yourself, and you are going to have an internal flight once you get there. So it's more than just showing up, get there, you're going to have to repack, get back on the plane, and go out to Anshan for the second part of the trip. So something like this is perfect. This is actually what I took to Europe this summer, and I stayed there for a month. And this made it through a month. So how many days you're going to be gone? How many? How many?
9.
9. You should be able to definitely make it in something like this. We're pretty close, okay? So let's look at what I have laid out here. I usually like to start with your carry-on first. So anything that is important that you cannot live without should go in this bag, should go in your carry-on. So anything like, any of you wear contacts? Maybe not glasses, you have glasses, those kind of things. Anything that you just really can't live without needs to go in this bag, as well as an extra set of clothes, okay? Because we don't like to say this out loud, but sometimes luggage gets lost. So if your luggage does get lost, you will want to make sure that you have an extra set of clothes, because usually it might take the airlines a couple days to get you your bag, okay? So that's what goes in the carry-on. Some things that I think are helpful to take with you. Anybody know what this is? Yeah, it's an adapter. So you know that here in the States we have like the 2 prongs and a kind of plug. In China it's going to be different. So you can pick up one of these $10 around, give or take, at any like travel store or Target, something like that. And this is not it's not a converter. It's just an adapter. So you have to be careful. Those of you ladies, I would recommend probably not taking like hair dryers and straighteners and all that stuff. Did any of you ladies take any of that stuff with you? Sam, you took it with you? How'd that work out for you?
Yeah.
Good. So those are things that you probably don't need, but those things you need an actual converter. So this is just an adapter, but anyone who has like an iPhone or something like that, it already comes with the converter in that little box, that goes on the plug. So you need one of these. The other thing that I like to do is when you have your technological devices, that's up to you whatever you want to bring. And I'm sure Mr. Howard will go into more detail about what he suggests that you do bring and that you don't. I'd say less is more, but I know it's a really long plane ride. So if you have a Kindle or a reader or something like that you want to take with you, you're going to end up having cords for stuff and going to have chargers. So I try to all keep mine in one place. So in my carry-on bag, if I need something, I can just take it out. It's all in one bag. So I am sometimes kind of cheap about stuff when I pack because I would rather spend my money on souvenirs. So a lot of times I use just like Ziploc baggies to kind of keep everything in its place. But also you can buy, fancy travel bags if you want. But I think Ziploc bags totally do the trick. So those are a couple of things that should go in the carry-on. I am a huge proponent of journaling when you travel. I just have always done that. This is actually the journal I took to Europe the last 2 times. And I always write down kind of places that I go or different different words that I learn in a journal. So I would recommend that to you guys as well because it's really cool. First trip I ever took was to Ireland my sophomore year of college, and I still have that journal. And it's really fun to go back and read about what my first experiences were, going abroad and going to different countries. So out of the people who are traveling this time, have any of you gone abroad before? Great. Where have you gone? Mexico. Where have you gone? Yeah.
I went to Australia.
Oh, good. Oh, so you've had a long plane ride before.
And I was born in Belgium.
Okay. Good. Good for you. Where? Ireland. Oh, did you like it? I loved it. Me too. All right. So that's just something that I think is kind of fun that I always like to keep in my carry-on because you do have long flights, so there's lots of times to journal. As you know, how many of you, has everybody flown before? Or do we have a couple of first-time flyers? Yes, I'm so excited. This last time I sat by 2 boys on a Europe trip who had never been on a plane before, and it was so awesome. They were so excited, so you'll love it. So as you know, anything that you carry on the plane, if it's a liquid, it has to go in a 1-quart bag, and everything inside has to be smaller than 3 ounces. So little stuff like this. These are nice too, if you ever have these, or sometimes you can find them at the store. They're little, like, this is like a sample for lotion. Because these are really nice because you can just use it and then pitch it out once you get there. I would suggest some antibacterial stuff with you to take with you as well. Some little bottles or something is helpful. Please remember you're only gone for 9 days. So like something like this, shampoo, probably get you through it, okay? If not, you can always put a little one in this bag, one and a big one in your carry-on, but you do not need, you know, a big, huge regular bottle of shampoo. So just some tiny stuff in here. The other thing that I always carry with me in Asia is a lot of times when you go to public restrooms or out in public, they often don't have like toilet paper and things like that. You have to bring your own. So I always pack, I've actually got a whole bunch that are about half gone from my last trip when I traveled abroad. So I usually pack a bunch of those. I carry those with me all the time, and I make sure I have some in my carry-on. The other thing is I always carry wet ones. Like, do you know what I mean? You think of those for little kids, but they're really helpful. And I'll tell you one, do you want to hear a somewhat gross story? Yeah. About when these totally saved the day? I was in Washington, D.C. one time with my students. How many of you have ever been there? Did you guys go? Yeah. Okay, we were up watching the changing of the guard. It was a really, really hot day. It was like 95. And if you've seen that before, you know that you have to stand on these marble steps and you have to stand up and you have to be quiet. It was really, really hot. I mean, it was just, ugh, yuck. So we're standing there and all of a sudden this woman goes, "I'm gonna be sick!" And she pushes through the crowd and throws up all over one of my students. And I was like, oh no! So we went off to the corner, and I tell you what, these saved the day. Because she was able to kind of get herself cleaned up until we could get her to a restroom and things like that. So hopefully that won't happen to you, but those are just kind of some things you don't have to have, but are just kind of helpful sometimes for you. And the next one, I should have asked you to bring yours, Mr. Howard. This is a money belt, but I think you usually carry one around the neck, don't you?
Yeah, I have the neck wallet, but I also have the money belt.
So this is something that is just helpful when you're out and about and you want to make sure that you have your money and your information and everything with you. This is a little money belt that just goes like underneath your pants and just hooks around like under your shirt. A lot of times, like Mr. Howard said, he has one that's a necklace and it's kind of square and can go under your shirt. Just be careful that you're not showing it off. I had some students who brought them and then they hang right in front of their shirt, and that's just saying, hey, I'm a tourist. Come and try to get some money off me. So the point is for it to be kind of private and so people don't see it.
And I kind of lean towards being a little bit more paranoid. I use both. I use that to carry most of my cash. And then I just took out what I thought I needed for the day. And we'll talk about budgeting later, but I kind of said, okay, well, this is how much I'm planning on spending. And I'd put that in my wallet. So worst case scenario, they're only stealing a small amount and I'll be fine.
Yeah, that's what I always tell students, to pack in different, pack your money in different places. You know, so I sometimes might put just a little bit of cash maybe in my journal or something that stays in my bag. Then I have some money in my actual pouch, and then I might have a little bit in my suitcase. Does that make sense? So you kind of have it spread out. It's not all in one place. Because we had the same thing, unfortunately, we had someone in Paris who was pickpocketed, and they had all their money in one place. So we figured something out, and it was okay, but you just want to be wise about that. Yeah?
I've never seen those before. Where would the kids go to get them?
This, I'm going to guess Target. Any travel place, you can get them online. I don't know.
I got all my stuff at Walmart. If you go in this section with all the suitcases, they have travel wallets and things like that there.
And they're not very expensive. I think this one was like, I don't know, $8 or something. I've had it for a couple of years.
If you're going to get one of the neck wallets, I recommend looking for one that lays really flat. It's not because it's like concealed better. The ones that are like a regular wallet with the string, they're terribly uncomfortable.
Yeah. So those are just kind of some things. Okay, the next thing is just some paperwork, and Mr. Howard is going to give you some other things as well. So when you are traveling around, I said, important things that go in here. Some of the important things are you'll have a copy of your passport, because the adults will be keeping your passports, but you always want to have a copy with you. And then I always have your personal information, with you. And then Mr. Howard will provide information with your hotel when you're in Beijing, phone numbers for EF, emergency phone numbers for Mr. Howard, all of those things. So in case you need something, you have it with you all the time. Okay? So that's kind of another piece here. All right, I think that's about all I had for the carry-on part. Anything you have questions about? Or suggestions from those who've traveled before? Yes?
Okay, so we were in, trying to feed the fish toilet paper. It was for toilet paper.
Yes, and that's kind of what I use my packing tissues for. But you can even buy, like if you go to the travel section, like in Walmart or Meijer, they'll have like even like a little plastic roll of toilet paper you can take with you. So that's just something different that they do in Asia. Usually if you go to a restaurant here, they have. Okay, anything else? Are we ready to move on to actual suitcase? All right, now this is where I'm going to try to hopefully show you some tricks. So save you some space let's see, save you some space and pack very thoughtfully. All right, so what I usually start with is, again, I kind of lay everything out to begin with. So figure out, how many pairs of pants you're going to need. Remember, most pants, like jeans and stuff like that, you can wear more than one day. I also, the weather is going to be about the same as it is here. So it's springtime, it can kind of get a little chilly and kind of get a little bit warm. So make sure you take things, you layer. I took like a medium weight jacket with you. I would also be thoughtful about what you're going to wear on the plane. It is a long plane ride, but it's not bad. Mr. Boyd is going to be great. But it is a long plane ride. So you want to wear something, somewhat comfortable. But I would say I usually always wear like the biggest, bulkiest shoes. Like if you're going to wear tennis shoes or something like that, they're a little bit bulky to pack. Wear those. Same thing, I would often wear my jacket on the plane because it sometimes is hot on the plane and sometimes it's cold. You never really know. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, so after, and I did not pack all the clothes I would take. I just did an example for you. So I would lay out everything that I have, and then when you pack the suitcase, I always pack jeans and pants first. So you put those in the bottom of the suitcase, and I usually flip-flop them like this. So you lay part of them inside, part of them outside the suitcase. So you got something going on like that. Does that make sense? All right, now the next part, I didn't learn this until later in my traveling days, and it saved my soul. Thanks. Hope I'm doing okay on camera, Mr.
I hope so.
Okay, so this is the next thing that will help you a lot and save you some space. So again, with plastic bags, it's helpful sometimes to put all your stuff kind of in one plastic bag, because again, you are going to have to repack and move places at least, twice on the trip, Mr. Howard? We'll have the
Twice.
Hotel in Beijing and then your homestay.
No, potentially 3, from
Okay.
into Beijing, and then Beijing up to Anshan, and then from Anshan, I think we're flying right out of Shenyang.
Okay.
I need to double check. Flights haven't been confirmed yet.
So one way or the other, you are going to have to pack and unpack and pack and repack. So this is something that's helpful. Like that's when I just have all my socks in one bag. Okay, so you kind of keep them in one place. So what I do next is I would say, the shirts that I'm going to wear, I lay them all out. And you can do this in a couple different rolls. So I'll just give you an example. So if I say, okay, here's my shirt, you fold your sleeves over, and I lay them in one nice pile. Then I take something that doesn't wrinkle. So like if you take pajama pants or a sweatshirt that's not going to wrinkle, or socks, I put it at the end and then just roll it up like this. Okay. And you have this little magic roll, okay, which really shouldn't wrinkle too bad. And then you can tuck it in here nice and tight, and it will save you lots of space. So that's one thing that can be a great space saver. The other one that I do, if you're going to take shoes with you, have we talked about comfortable traveling shoes, Mr. Howard?
No, we haven't yet.
I don't want to be redundant. When you take shoes with you, make sure they are shoes that you've worn for quite a while and they're really comfortable. Because the worst thing is when you're traveling, you take, especially I'm kind of talking to us ladies, right? We're like, oh, these are so cute. I love these. These are the greatest looking shoes, and they're going to look so nice when I'm walking the streets of Beijing. But then an hour into it, you're like, these are the most uncomfortable shoes on the planet, and you're going to be miserable. So make sure you take shoes that are comfortable, ones that you've worn before for quite a while. Then I usually take my shoes, probably pack 2 pairs of shoes, I'd say. You probably wear one on the plane and maybe pack one. That's up to you. Some people just, might just wear 1 pair of shoes.
I think it's not only that, but just in case, when I went to Europe, I packed 2 pairs of sandals, and when we were in Switzerland, in Lucerne, it rained all day, and I walked around
Yes.
in wet sandals, and I had a backup pair. So I got to the hotel, took those off,
Yeah.
they dried, I had something else to wear. So just in case.
So I would pack something extra. You can also pack things in your shoes too. Like a lot of times I'll like stuff them full of socks. Put them in a bag though, so you don't have, if you've got, you're gonna be walking on city streets and they get kind of dirty and grimy sometimes. So if you have to pack your shoes back in your suitcase, you wanna make sure it's something covered. The other thing is too, sometimes I'll use plastic bags like this to put your dirty clothes in too, so you have somewhere to put your dirty laundry in. So I pack those in nice and tight. Let's see what's next. Let's talk about this next. Reading. I know some of you are going to take readers. How many of you like to read? Enjoy reading. Good. Did any of you guys take readers, or did you take books with you? What did you guys take?
Took iPads.
You took your iPad?
I took watch TV on.
Took books. And also read. We'll go with that. So anyway, so when you pack books, I would say, you know, I'm usually one that kind of, I'll leave one in my carry-on and pack the rest in here. Just make sure you kind of space those out in your luggage, otherwise it's going to get really heavy and kind of awkward. The other thing is I always like to read books about the places I'm traveling. Once when I was younger, my family and we traveled to Nantucket, this on the East Coast, this island, and I had bought this book and I had read about it, and it was this awesome book about these guys that survived on the ocean and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and I got to the end of the book and I found out that there was like all these artifacts at this museum, and I missed it when I was there, and I was so bummed. So I was like, from now on, I'm going to always read a book during my trip so I don't miss it once you're there. So this is a good book, The Good Earth by Pearl Buck, which is about China and is kind of an interesting read. Mr. Howard, I know, has read this one. So it's fun to kind of, yeah, it's fun to read about things where you're going. And last but not least, we're getting down to the end here, language. It's nice to know some language ahead of time, which we're going to talk about here in a moment. So I sometimes have a book like this. The other thing that you can get on like Better World Books or any of those discount book sites, you can get travel guides. I didn't have one for Beijing, but the last couple trips we've taken to Europe, like this is the last one I used, and I just tagged things where we were going to go, and it was really fun to kind of read it ahead of time. And take that with you if you want. So the only other thing, I think we talked about all this stuff. Oh, make sure you have a luggage tag on your bag, which I think EF sometimes even gives you those. So you have your personal information on your suitcase, also your carry-on. I am a big proponent of taking snacks with you, especially because when you're in China, you're going to be trying a bunch of amazing food, but it's going to be different. So sometimes it's nice to have a little familiar taste of home, like in the form of a granola bar or something like that. So I like to always pack those.
What is so important?
What?
I just got hungry for
Yes.
a familiar, very familiar, even though they might have something that looks like what we have, it does have a little different taste.
It's
So
just not quite the same. So that's
no apples and things, it has to be.
yeah. Yes, that's right. I know, tons of liquids or something heavy. So we'll put all this stuff in. I often take just some empty plastic bags with me because a lot of times you'd be surprised what you end up having to organize later on. So after I get everything in my bag and it's nice and organized, you take your pants and you tuck them over like this, and then they don't wrinkle as much. And then after we finish it up like this, you don't have to have one of these. It's just a thought, but this is a luggage strap. So when you finish, essentially, this just goes around like here and attaches. Anybody know why you might want to have one of these other than it's cute? Yeah. Yeah, because we've had in the past, we've had some people where they went to pick up their luggage and it's in a plastic bag because their bag just fell apart and split open. So that's a nice thing to have, but you don't have to have that. I traveled with it for a long time without one and nothing happened, but it's something that I usually kind of do now.
And it helps you identify your bag when it's
Yes.
rolling around on the...
Yes, and I'm glad Mrs. Harper said that. This is what we had for the last trip. We had everyone that was in our group had one of these tags on their bag, so when we stood at luggage collection, we just had a couple people that went up and pulled off everybody's suitcase with one of these, so that's just kind of